He then went home, ate, and attended his niece's birthday party that evening as if nothing had happened. Hello and welcome, I hope you are doing well. My name is Gabby and today we are going through the case of a man who enjoyed creating psychological distress by hiding in the walls of the homes of the people that he targeted, which would then lead on to him committing horrifying murders. If you enjoy true crime and don't mind listening to someone like me talk about it, please subscribe to the channel. I upload new videos every week. This is the case of Daniel LaPlante. On the evening of the 1st of December 1937, Andrew Gustafson returned home from work to find the house in darkness and without any other signs of life. This wasn't unusual, as was the fact that his attempts to phone his pregnant wife Priscilla earlier in the day were all unsuccessful. Entering his home, Andrew went upstairs to the bedroom he shared with his wife and was confronted by the sight of Priscilla's body face down on the bed, the pillows covered with her blood. Andrew immediately fled the house and called the police. When later asked why he hadn't looked for his two children, 5-year-old William and 7-year-old Abigail, he replied, "I was afraid I would find them dead." Unfortunately, that fear was accurate. When the police arrived and searched the house, they found William in the upstairs bathroom, face down in the bath that contained just enough water to drown him. Abigail was found in the downstairs bathroom, drowned in its bath as well. A search of the woods produced a still wet discarded t-shirt and gloves. A police dog then followed the scent on those items to the house of someone who, in the minds of at least some of the police, was an obvious suspect. The Gustafsons' 17-year-old neighbour, Daniel LaPlante. Born 15th of May 1970, Daniel lived with his mother and stepfather in Townsend, Massachusetts. He grew up being abused sexually and psychologically by many of the adults in his life, most notably his father, who was responsible for the bulk of abuse during his childhood, and by the psychiatrist he was sent to in his teens. He struggled at school and was described by his fellow students as a loner and unfriendly. In his teens, Daniel started breaking into houses during the evenings, initially to steal valuables before moving on to playing mind games to scare the inhabitants, moving things around in the homes and leaving things behind. In 1986, this behaviour escalated to an even more disturbing degree. He became obsessed with a girl who went to the same school as him, 15-year-old Tina Bowen, and took her on a date over the Easter break, but the relationship didn't develop any further. In late autumn of that year, strange and disturbing things started happening in the Bowen house. TV channels changed seemingly by themselves, milk was inexplicably drunk, and objects were moved around. Additionally, messages saying things such as "marry me" and "I'm in your room, come and find me" were scrawled on the walls with mayonnaise and ketchup. Tina's father, Frank Bowen, initially thought that the strange events were the results of his daughters messing with each other, but he discovered that the truth was far worse. On the 8th of December 1986, Tina and her sister returned home with a friend of theirs to find that someone had used their toilet while they were out. Frank searched the house and found the intruder hiding in a closet wearing a Native American style jacket, a ninja mask and face paint. He was also armed with a hatchet and a steel wrench. The intruder calmly ordered the family and their guests into a bedroom, but Tina was able to escape to the house next door and called the police. By the time that they arrived, the intruder had disappeared, leaving the family and their guest unharmed but shaken. An initial search of the house by the police officers and a canine unit didn't find anything, but nevertheless the Bowens temporarily moved out of their home, understandably. 2 days later, Frank returned to the house to retrieve some belongings and saw the intruder's face in the front window. He called the police and told them what had happened. As the attending police officer, Officer Stephen Bezanson, later recounted, "When I opened the door on the right-hand wall, I saw a knife sticking out of the wall, and I see that it's through a picture, a family picture, written on it in magic marker, 'I'm still here, come and find me.' Now the hairs go up on the back of my head. On another wall, I saw another picture saying, 'I'm going to kill you all,' with a knife through it. Officer Benzanson called for backup, and when 2 more officers arrived, Chief David Young and Sergeant James Scott, the 3 of them searched the house again, but once again without success. Then Officer Benzanson noticed something in the toilet. He said, "Oh, that's a wall to hide pipes." I'm thinking, son of a bitch, there's enough room back there. I have one hand on the butt of my pistol. I saw what looked like a pile of clothes. He was totally covered with the clothes. I said, "That's him." I pulled my pistol and said, "I got the son of a bitch right here," but he didn't move. I told him, "Let me see your hands or I'll splatter your brains all over that wall." Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Dave Young run out of the room. He left, and this is when I saw LaPlante was really bad. He was not afraid. He looked out of the corner of his eye. He wasn't afraid to have a gun stuck next to his head. Daniel was arrested and held in juvenile facility, where he bragged to another inmate about his campaign of psychological warfare against the Bowen family and taking them hostage, until October 1987, when his mother raised the money to pay his $10,000 bail by remortgaging her house. While awaiting trial for the Bowen case, Daniel resumed his burglary habit, and on the 14th of October 1987, he stole 2 .22 caliber firearms from a neighbouring house. A month later, on the 16th of November, he burgled the home of Priscilla Gustafson, her husband Andrew, and their 2 children. Then, on the 1st of December, he walked through the woods between his home and the Gustafsons with a gun and broke back into their house. While in the house, he heard Priscilla return home with William. He'd later claimed that he didn't expect anyone to come home and that his first thought was jumping out the window to get away. Regardless of whether or not that's true, it wasn't what he did. Instead of escaping, he confronted them with a gun and took them to a bedroom, putting William in the closet and tying Priscilla to the bed and gagging her with one of his socks. He then raped her before shooting her twice in the head at point-blank range. After killing Priscilla, Daniel took William out of the closet into the bathroom and drowned him in the bathtub. As he was leaving the house, he ran into Abigail, who had just got home from school. After luring her into another bathroom, he drowned her the same way that he drowned William. He then went home, ate, and attended his niece's birthday party that evening as if nothing had happened. The evening after the murder, Daniel was taken in for questioning, but at the time the police lacked sufficient evidence in order to hold him. They planned to return to his home the following day, but Daniel went on the run. A manhunt ensued after being spotted driving in a very conspicuous choice of getaway vehicle, a bright orange van with a pop top and 2 for sale signs. Daniel was finally cornered in a dumpster in Aya, Massachusetts, on the evening of the 3rd of December 1987 and arrested. In 1988, Daniel LaPlante was sentenced to life imprisonment 3 times for the murders of Priscilla Gustafson, William Gustafson, and Abigail Gustafson. On the 22nd of March 2017, a resentencing hearing was held at Middlesex Superior Court in Woburn, Massachusetts, where Daniel requested a reduction in his sentence. As he had been assessed by a forensic psychiatrist and found to still be completely without remorse for his crimes, the request was denied, and the judge affirmed the sentences of life imprisonment 3 times with a possibility of parole after 45 years. The thought of someone secretly hiding within the walls of my own home really just makes my skin crawl, and I can't imagine how that must have felt for the family involved. And being able to coldly take the lives of a mother and her children without a shred of remorse is truly terrifying. Thank you for watching and subscribing if you have done so, and if you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments. I would love to read them. But until I see you again, please be safe, be well, and I'll see you next time.